Welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday, so time, of course, for Talking Kids with Dr. Caitlynn. Dr. Caitlynn Iddings is with us this morning. She is a Lexington pediatrician, and we're always so excited to have her with us.
And today we're going to talk about antibiotic shortages.
Yes, unfortunately.
And we were doing a story about this not long ago.
Yeah.
Amoxicillin in particular.
In particular, which is like every pediatrician's water. Like, we need it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's very important for kids. Yeah.
So yeah, this has been on the news nationally, but yeah, let's talk about here locally. When did you first start to see this shortage, start hearing whisperings of this from pharmacies?
Yeah, so it's probably been about a month ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, at least. And some pharmacists, more of the local mom and pop places, kind of saw it coming because there were two big companies, one in Israel and one in Great Britain, that had just sort of stopped making it without real explanation as to why that was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's probably has something to do with the economy and them wanting more money for it. But essentially, they kind of were like, oh, this is looking like, you know, they're the two biggest producers of this medication, and some of them were smart and sort of stockpiled it. But the big chain stores like Kroger and CVS and all of those didn't really foresee that or do that. And so those are really the places that we're having a hard time finding it right now. Yeah.
So what are you prescribing amoxicillin for normally?
Yeah, so amoxicillin is first line for ear infections. It's first line for strep throat. It's first line for pneumonia in kids. It can be used for soft tissue infections like impetigo or even urinary tract infections. So it's a very versatile antibiotic. It's one of our oldest antibiotics. It's really easy to make. It's dirt cheap, which is, like I said, I think why occasionally insurance companies are like, we're only going to pay $3 for a bottle, and then pharmaceutical companies are like, well, that's not going to make us any money, so we're just going to stop making it until the insurance company comes back and says, okay, we'll pay $10 per bottle. So it really, like I said, is probably economy driven, inflation, all those things, but it really has become really a problem for pediatricians being able to get it to kids without doing unnecessarily strong antibiotics, right? Because if amoxicillin can treat an ear infection, we don't want to do something stronger and build up antibiotic resistance. So that has really been the issue we're running into. Places calling and say, we don't have this, what do you want to use instead? And I'm like, well, I don't really want to use anything instead, I want to use this. But having to then say, okay, well, let's maybe do like Augmentin or, you know, Ceflexin, something stronger that isn't necessarily needed. You know, it's kind of, I was
You
giving
wouldn't
an example.
choose it initially.
Like
No
if you have
need
a
to go.
campfire that's simmering out by itself, you would dump a bucket on it and not use a fire hose, right? So it's really one of those things where it is a problem. We want to be good antibiotic stewards because we don't want to contribute to antibiotic resistance in these little kids who may need something really stronger as they get older. And
Because that is
it's
a
just not
problem, isn't it?
available.
I mean, I've read that.
Oh,
Where
absolutely, yeah.
these resistant strains are just starting to become more prevalent, where it's harder to treat.
Yeah. And so, like I said, that's a big thing. That, you know, so then the question is, well, what do we do about it? And one of the things is we can try to do alternatives until hopefully they ramp back up the supply. They're saying probably February we might start to get more
back to
supply
normal.
ramped up.
So what do parents do if they call their pediatrician? Well, we don't have any amoxicillin. What's the next procedure?
Yeah, so usually we're having to send in a different script for something stronger, which is, like I said, frustrating for them, frustrating for the pharmacist. You know, they're just trying their best. They can't help what they have and don't have.
And then the parents got to deal with trying to give a kid medicine that probably doesn't taste as
Right,
good as
because
the pink
amoxicillin's the
amoxicillin's
pink
delicious.
bubblegum. Everyone likes
Right.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord, now you're starting to throw it down his throat. And you got that fight going on.
You have kids?
No, but I know how I was. I hated it.
I know.
Except for amoxicillin, I
The
loved.
bubblegum stuff's good, yeah.
It is, yeah.
And so there's that. And then, you know, one thing that we as pediatricians can do is just making sure that we're really being judicious with when we do prescribe it, because sometimes you'll look at a kid's ears and you'll say, oh, well, they're kind of mildly infected. The kid doesn't have a fever. They're not really complaining of pain. And so it is appropriate at times to say, okay, well, I'm going to send this prescription, but I want you to wait a couple days, right? And if your kid is feeling better, and this happened with my own 5-year-old the other day, she's like, Mommy, my ear hurts. And, you know, I have the luxury of being able to look, and I'm like, yeah, it's infected. Let me give you some Motrin, and we'll kind of wait and see how it feels tomorrow. And the next morning she says it feels better. And so I didn't even bother to look again until last night, which has been about a week, and I'm like, oh, it looks perfect now. So a lot of ear infections in older kids. Now, in under 2, we really need to be saving that amoxicillin for those little ones, because they can't tell you, oh, my ear still hurts, right?
Important information to know this morning. Dr. Caitlynn, always good to have you with us. Thank you so much.